Back here on First Things First, quick vocabulary lesson. The definition of the word cavalier, Nick, showing a lack of proper concern, or in other words, how LeBron James feels about his Cavaliers. There's drama, injuries, losing streaks, and yet LeBron maintains all will be okay. Cavs try and end a 3-week-long funk tonight when they host the Magic. Here is LeBron James.
It's been very challenging, just from the fact of how many guys have been in and out. This is a difficult, year for our team. It seems like I say that every year, but this one has been even more challenging. With everybody that's been out and coming back in, and the rotations and things of that nature has been very challenging on our team. But we have to figure it out. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, we have a game every other day or every 2 days, just like everybody else in the NBA. And we have to go out and play.
Cece, it's a long season. LeBron James has played every game. There's been issues on the court. There have been issues off the court. Are you worried that he's just getting worn down by this season?
I'm not concerned about him getting worn down, but, I mean, there is a reality about LeBron, who he is. I mean, he had a conference NBA Finals like we had never seen before, and they lost. And this offseason, all of a sudden before the season, they hear that Kyrie wants to be traded. Now, he probably thought in the addition and subtraction with IT, Crowder as a player, getting Jeff Green, adding him, being able to get D. Wade to sign, that, man, our bench is a lot better. Then before training camp starts, he gets hurt. So, I mean, it's not a matter of is it going to wear him out. This is LeBron's life. And also that he's probably in the most decision of it. Like, this is bigger than the decision where he left Cleveland to be able to leave Cleveland and go to Miami. The decision he had to make from Miami to go back to Cleveland. I believe this one is far more significant. The reason why, because he's already won a championship in Cleveland. So the overall pool that would allow him to leave, I believe, is greater now, because he could say, I've done everything in Cleveland. So it's a great amount of stress just being LeBron James. I don't think it's worn him out. I think that it hasn't gone the way that he's gone, that now they're back in the same January rut that he's been in the last several years. So hadn't gone the way he orchestrated, and it's been a very taxing season. And after putting up the kind of numbers in the finals the way he did, his number 2 guy in Kyrie saying, I don't want to be there, which is, you can say what you want, but it's not an indictment on LeBron, but it doesn't say good things, because you win NBA championships with great players.
It's not a compliment to LeBron.
And you just lost a great player.
So the one thing with the Cavs I'm not worried about is LeBron. He's played every game this year. He's been the best player in the league this year. He's probably going to amazingly win his 5th MVP in his 15th season. I'm not worried about LeBron. There are other things to be concerned about with the Cavaliers. Some of them no one can control, like the health of Isaiah Thomas. How good is he actually going to be once he's at full strength from the hip injury? Will he ever be this season at full strength from the hip injury, which seemed to be a concern when he was leaving Boston? Let's not forget that once the trade went through, the Cavs went back to the Celtics and said, we want more stuff because Isaiah's injury is worse than you guys let on. So that is a reason for concern, even if you're optimistic. The overall defense of the team. Yes, I know they were 29th after the All-Star break last year, and they turned it on in the playoffs. They're 29th again this year. Will they turn it on in the playoffs? I believe they will, but the team's also older. The team also, while Kyrie wasn't a good defender, they somehow found a way to get worse at the defensive position of point guard by adding Isaiah Thomas. So, like, all of those things, there is real reason of concern. Jay Crowder's having the worst year of his, the last few years in his career. JR's having the worst year of his career. Tristan's having the worst year he's had in the last few years. But I think all those things can be real, and LeBron also can be exaggerating it the way he always is this time of year. So why would LeBron exaggerate it this time of year? So the trade deadline's in a month. Last year he said it's the strangest year he's ever had, and we need a bleeping playmaker. And they went out and got Kyle Korver. The year before he didn't have to say much.
But in that year, in respect to LeBron, that year he was coming off of a championship. Like, they had just won. They had upset Golden State, down 3-1. And then that season followed that up. So just to let people know where he was and why he said that.
But I guess my point is, even though they were coming off a championship and he was coming off the pinnacle of his career, he still, this time of year, was frustrated and said we need a bleeping playmaker. So, of course, when he's a year further removed from a championship, as CeCe mentioned, he can't say, all right, if we get back to the finals, it'll be fine if I play better, because he averaged a damn triple-double, and they got beaten 5 games. So the timing of this is, yeah, you are in the dog days of the season, but it's also your window to improve the team is winnowing because the trade deadline's approaching.
And one of the biggest problems, Jenna, is the Cavs. Let's look at their 10-man rotation. They have one player that they drafted, and that's LeBron James. And if you look at that, so how, if you need a break, if guys are tired, how do you keep playing with all these old teams? LeBron wants to play with older guys. This is kind of the drawback, that in the middle of the season, older players get tired. They get a little lull. They know they have LeBron. And Cleveland hasn't done well because they've traded their draft picks, either Kyrie being their latest draft pick, but not developing young players right now is coming back to haunt the Cleveland Cavaliers.
And the one other guy they drafted that's supposed to be in the rotation is Tristan Thompson, who was one of their draft picks, supposed to be their energy and defensive guy, and hasn't been.
Clearly, LeBron James is playing the right now mentality. He doesn't want to develop anyone young. He doesn't want to plan for the future. He wants to play right now. So my question would then be, what move would you like to see the Cavs make at the trade deadline? Is there someone out there who you would love that would be a great fit, who could help the team now moving into this summer?
I know everyone is saying DeAndre Jordan. That's the guy because he's available, because he plays a position of weakness for them. I don't think DeAndre Jordan is the key difference maker to beating the Golden State Warriors.
Is there one out there, CeCe? Is there a difference maker?
I just don't believe in DeAndre Jordan. I don't believe that he's a winner. I don't believe that he helps out the Cavs, especially against Golden State. If Golden State is your #1 opposition, Golden State's not playing a center. So why would you get a guy on a max deal when you need a defender, you need an explosive player, or you need someone to be able to help you in the backcourt?
Who would you like to see?
It's not a matter of who I would like to see, because I don't see the player out there who might be available from just say an intermediate player. If you want to really impress me, I would trade Shumpert, Tristan. I would go to New Orleans and I would try to get one of their big 2. That's who I would try to get. I would try to get one of those players. If you're going to force me to make a trade, then I'm going to try to go get one of them, because I believe that might enhance the chance of keeping LeBron.
And the only one of those big 2 that actually could theoretically be available is Boogie Cousins. But they're playing, I think they're playing
then
too well.
Then they're not going to let Boogie go.
I mean, Boogie was the guy I had circled from the beginning of the year. That's the guy, if they're not playing well, he's on an expiring deal. But I don't think the Cavs' move is going to be some, oh my God, I can't believe they got this piece. DeAndre Jordan would fit that protocol. Boogie Cousins would. Just think about the guys they've added at midseason that have actually made the biggest difference for them. When they added Mozgov and Shumpert, JR was thrown into the Shumpert deal. JR was more important for them in winning the title. In my eyes, Mozgov was not important at all for them winning the title, and more important than Shumpert. Last year, when the Hawks were basically just trying to go younger and were giving away Kyle Korver, people didn't look at that as an enormous addition. They flipped out Dunleavy for Korver, threw in a pick, and Korver was very important for them. I think I'll take a team like Houston. Houston this offseason added Luke Richard and Mbah a Moute. Nobody looks at him as a star player. He's never been an all-star, but he's an important rotational piece that does something that team needs. A guy like what they thought Jay Crowder would be. So to answer your question, what the Cavs need at the trade deadline is the 2 guys they got from Boston to look anything like what they were in Boston. Isaiah has an excuse, and not even an excuse, he has a reason. He's been injured. Jay Crowder has no excuse for how he's played. And whatever's going on with JR, JR had a reason last year for having a down year. He had a really serious family situation. He had a child born months premature. They didn't know if she was going to make it, and he dealt with an injury. That's not the case with JR, and we're now 18 months since we've seen JR play his best basketball. Those guys on the roster need to be better.
One last question. How much do they have to factor in what LeBron's future is going to be when they make this decision at the trade deadline?
Well, everything they're doing is to try to help, to keep him. So if you don't do anything, the chance of losing him are greater, because he sees it's an aging roster.
Would you get rid of that draft pick? Because then
I
you're
don't.
really showing
I don't know
LeBron
what
that
I'm.
you're
I don't.
there
I
for
don't
today.
know what I'm getting for it. I mean, you asked me a trade the question before.
Yeah.
I included the pick in trying to get Cousins
okay.
from New Orleans. Like that's the
Okay.
only way you're going to be able to get a player like that is
Sure.
throwing the Brooklyn pick.
I think it's categorically insane if the Cavs do not do everything they can to entice LeBron to stay there. And if that means trading away a pick that damn well might end up being the 9th pick of the draft, then of course you do it. The idea that they are keeping that draft pick as a backup plan if LeBron leaves is lunacy. If LeBron leaves, the Cavs go back to being what they've been every year they've ever existed without LeBron, and also ran. Like, you do everything you can to keep LeBron, and of course that means potentially trading that Brooklyn pick if the right deal's out there.
All right, a few minutes left. Let's talk some Steelers. At last count, there were 305,000 people living in the city of Pittsburgh. Of those, I'm not sure how many wanted Steelers head coach Mike